falling in Boise, Idaho, in the Mountain West. Full house expected. Brendan Wenzel in Wyoming on the roads. Guess who's back for Boise State? Their leader, Marcus Shaver Jr. ExtraMile Arena, Boise, Idaho, home of the Broncos. And in the Mountain West tonight, Wyoming pays a visit on Boise State. 5 teams in the Mountain West in the top 48 in the net. And obviously, Boise State would like to keep right near the top. Hi, everybody. Rich Waltz, along with former Gonzaga All-American Dan Dickow. This is a tricky game, though, Dan. I mean, you've got Boise State after an 8-day layoff. Wyoming is undermanned, but they've got maybe the most creative coach in the conference.
Yeah, Jeff Linder at Wyoming will always have a wrinkle up his sleeve, but for Boise State, they've had 8 days off to get healthy and to continue to prepare for the stretch run of Mountain West play.
And I may add, it's great to see people in here. This place is going to be filled even up at the very top of the rafters. For the Broncos, Tyson Degenhart, their super sophomore, has been outstanding.
Freshman of the year a season ago was right around 10 points per game, and he has elevated his play from a leadership as well as a production standpoint. He's got a tremendous IQ. He can score on his own. He can make plays for others. He can finish on the interior. He can knock down shots from beyond the arc.
You know what? It's been a nightmare season in Laramie, and for a lot of reasons. First, Graham Ike, preseason player of the year, out for the season. Then their leading scorer, Noah Reynolds, out with concussion issues. And then 3 transfers who came in have left the team. But the man that remains staying right now is terrific, right? Hunter Maldonado does everything for this team.
One of the most versatile players in all of college basketball. He can score it as a point guard who backs you down. He can create plays for others. Second all-time in the Mountain West in career assists. He's a tremendous player.
In the Mountain West tonight, in Boise, the Cowboys need to cowboy up, get those 3-point shooters shooting. And the Broncos just try to keep rising in the net. Yeah, this place is bouncing right now. ExtraMile Arena, Wyoming, and Boise State, and the hyper-competitive Mountain West Conference. Starting lineups. Can the 3-point shooters treat and be a threat for Jeff Linder? Leon Rice and Boise State. What effect will that 8-day layoff have for them? There's your lineups. The 3-point shooters in question. First 2 from the left for Wyoming. Xavier Dussel, Hunter Maldonado, and add Brendan Wenzel into that mix. Max Rice is playing banged up, but having Shaver back is a huge boost for the Broncos.
That 8-day layoff was beneficial for all, but in particular Shaver.
Jeff Linder, not an easy task. He's been playing just 7. So he's very thin on the bench. He's missing 3, maybe 4 starters. Dussel going right at Degenhart, missed the shot. And the Broncos have the rebound. First possession, Shaver averaging 13 a game. And with an 8-day layoff, the ankle injury cost him just 1 game.
It's impressive that that's all he missed, but right off the bat, Wyoming put him in an action where he had to guard multiple cuts and moves.
Leon Rice, 13 years, NCAA tournament last year. Both these teams in the NCAA last year. Baseline jumper on the way, and it rims out. And Chibuzo Abo with his first shot of the game. Abo, the transfer from Texas Tech. All right, where are the points going to come from for the Cowboys tonight?
Well, they're going to space the floor. They're probably going to shoot a lot of threes, which has been a typical of a Jeff Linder team. But this is you're going to see all night long. Hunter Maldonado backing down, getting to a sweet spot. Great possession there for Degenhart to knock it loose.
Yeah, good help by Najee Smith as well. Shaver penetrates. This is Smith. Oh, it's a three. His jump shot is not pretty. It comes out like a globe with a sideways spin, but he knocks it down.
Well, most opposing coaches will live with that. For Boise State, they're okay with him taking an occasional three because he does all of the little things.
Maldonado on his way to the bench. I don't know if he's got blood or what's up. John Higgins, one of our 3 officials, along with Mike Reed and Rick O'Neill, stopped it. It is indeed some sort of a cut. Whether it's the nose, it looks like the nose. That's the guy. I mean, look, they've lost just about everything, right? EK, Conference Player of the Year preseason. Reynolds, their leading scorer. Maldonado is the heart and soul of this program. The guy that's been at the very bottom the first couple years where they were awful, and then certainly was a huge part of their ride to the NCAA tournament last year.
It's his 6th year in Laramie. He had a redshirt year due to injury. He took advantage of the extra COVID year. You would love to see him finish his career on a high note, playing well, and hopefully for Cowboy fans, getting a couple wins down the stretch and maybe having a chance in the conference tournament.
Another strong drive. Oden is turned away. Wyoming's taken it to the bucket twice and come up empty. This is Max Rice, whose game has really elevated, and a turnover as that ball rolls into backcourt. It's a Wyoming basketball. He's playing with a sore back, but man, he's still playing well. He leads them in scoring in Mountain West Conference games.
Najee Smith, tremendous reaction to be able to get back into the play, come up with the block shot. I mentioned he does all the little things. He can guard almost 1 through 5. They'll switch a lot of situations with him in it. He's active on the glass. When he can knock in an occasional three-pointer, it's a bonus.
Wenzel misses the turnaround. Degenhart has the rebound. Neither of these teams has a traditional low-post big. Smith, as you've noted, operates everywhere. Thompson has the loose ball. Maldonado pushes tempo, hunting for a transition 3, backing down on Degenhart, leaning, faking, and kicking. Wenzel's 3 on the way. That's short. Wyoming's going to have to start hitting those shots if they want to stay with Boise State tonight. They're 0-2 from distance.
Well, they've struggled this season on the road. On the season, only averaged 65 points a game on the road, well below their season average.
Oh, that's Abo. And it's 5-0 Boise State.
Just the kind of start Leon Rice wanted to see after that mentioned 8-day layoff. I want to see them coming out crisp on the offensive end of the floor with their spacing and their cutting and being active on the defensive end.
Thompson trying to post up. He's got Rice on him. Oden takes the 3, and that's short. An 0-4 start from the field. 0-5 for Wyoming.
They got the switch here. Degenhart needs to take his time, either get to the basket or create a double opportunity.
Rolling hook. Wyoming, one of the things they do really well, they are a great defensive rebounding team. They don't give up many offensive rebounds.
That's one of the focuses, is they have to be good on the glass. And you're right, tonight they have to do that to stay in this game.
Maldonado has to do a lot of that, getting to the bucket and getting to the line. Chibuzo Abo, 2 years at Texas Tech, transfers in. 11 points a game and a nice left-hand flush.
Sometimes players just need a change of scenery and a better fit. That's been the case for Abo. Nice left-hand drive and finish. This crowd here at ExtraMile Arena definitely enjoyed that one.
Maldonado gets another free throw. That's a good point. And when you transfer in, are you a fit? Do you fit into the system? Leon Rice done a nice job of that. You know, you think about Acott and some of the others that have come in here over the last 3-4 years. Armish.
They've had some fits that have worked out well on the other side for Wyoming. Unfortunately for them, the 3 transfers did not fit. They decided to leave the team mid-season.
Rice cut off. This is Shaver. The ankle's still a little tender, but much, much better than last week. Degenhart, a reach and a foul by Wyoming.
Abo, he's been knocking it down from three, so you've got to honor the catch. He attacks and finishes with the left.
College basketball on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Sleep Number. Discover proven quality sleep only at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com. By Jeep, there's only one. And by Rogue, don't weaken.
What a year for the Broncos last year. They beat San Diego State 3 times, twice in the regular season, in the championship game, for a regular season and a tournament championship in the Mountain West. Dan Dickow, your keys for this one.
For Wyoming, I think you have to make threes. They're going to have opportunities if Maldonado creates doubles. They also have to stay out of foul trouble. Limited bench, only 7 scholarship players available for the Broncos. Force turnovers. You do that by pressuring defensively because of the lack of depth. And then the last thing would be to dominate the glass. Overall, Boise State has a size advantage this evening.
Bronco possession. Degenhart has 3-point distance, but operates so well when he backs into the paint. Just like that.
Hunter Thompson got caught in no man's land. If you're going to double or if you're going to stay home, you got to make a decision. He really didn't come and double. It allowed Degenhart the ability to see a possible double coming, spin away from it, come up with a nice jump hook finish.
Maldonado got a step and finishes. He has been playing almost 40 minutes a game lately, and you expect him to do that again tonight.
He's been playing really well, in particular on the road. Season high 34 points on the road against San Jose State. He's going to have to play really well for Wyoming to win tonight.
The rest of his team has had trouble on the road. Smith driving, and a foul on a reach. Looked like Hunter Thompson, his first personal. This guy's put on about 30 pounds of muscle. He walked in here at 215. He's listed right now at 245. Degenhart, and there's Maldonado streaking to the cup.
A lot of times it's just the evolution of a player to put on size and strength their first couple of years of college, but it's got to be the right strength and the right size as Shaver comes up a little to the left. I think in football, the big game tomorrow, we would call that wide left.
Okay. Now, you were a great shooter in college. It took you to the NBA. For Shaver and the ankle injury, what's the impact and how long does it take for him to get it back? Maldonado, corner 3, Wenzel. And the Cowboys are 0 from 3 from beyond the arc.
Well, you can see he's a little tentative, a little hesitant, which you would expect with a high ankle sprain, which is what they've called it. But sometimes for a player like Shaver, who's so skilled, it makes you slow down. You see things a little quicker. But the big thing is can he cut and change directions, because he uses those skills so much in his game.
Wyoming getting a little out in front of themselves. Dussel stumbled on that pass, and he's coming out. Jeff Linder's going to go to his bench, and it's thin. Caden Powell is going to come in, and Nate Barnhart, who really hadn't played a whole lot until about 2 weeks ago, is in there right now for the Cowboys.
He's a young player, redshirt freshman, 7 foot 190. Coach Linder today told us he came in at about 170 pounds. So we want to talk about upside for a player to grow athletically. He's a great example of that.
Agbo around the pick. High arcing jumper. Dussel cleans up the rebound. Rebounds are dead even at 6 apiece right now. That's a win for Wyoming, but they're going to need to start making buckets. You can see the shooting, just 1 of 8. Dussel again goes down. Boise State has turned themselves into a really good defensive team. Powell steps through and scores. The lefty, the freshman out of Waco, Texas.
You are exactly right about being a good defensive team. Top 10 in the country now. Actually, number 9, Ken Palm Analytics on the defensive end of the floor.
That's a high degree of difficulty. Shaver with the bucket. And Maldonado again is going to walk off the floor. He's still bleeding out of his nose. That's the whistle here.
Tremendous finish from Shaver. Rejects the pick and roll. Help side defense from Wyoming is late to react. He wanted a foul. Regardless, that was a spectacular creative finish.
Maldonado gets another plug in the nose. If you're just joining us, got a bloody nose about 30 seconds into this ball game.
He's going to leave it all on the floor. He has become beloved in Laramie, or as the locals like to call it, Laradice. Chasing many records in the Wyoming record book. Top 6 all-time leading scorer as well.
Kobe Young, Lucas Milner in for Boise State. Ducell gets inside and gets on the score sheet. Xavier Ducell, the junior out of Scottsdale.
It's a great sign for Jeff Linder. As a freshman, averaged nearly 10 points a game, but a year ago numbers dipped because of the focus with Graham Ike. They need to see him play well down the stretch.
Shaver, another difficult layup.
Shaver's shooting percentages have gone down this year. A lot of it is due to the focus of opposing defenses, but he can score at all 3 levels. Behind the arc, at the rim, such as that was, as well as in the mid-range.
Ducell misses on that jumper. He's now 1 of 4 from the field. Shaver's feeling it, and he hammers home a jumper. Welcome back.
Exactly right. Defense goes under a pick and roll. First off, that's a mistake against Shaver because he can shoot that. When you go under, he reads it, recognizes it, elevates, knocks it down.
Broncos their biggest lead. They've hit their last 3 shots. Maldonado trying to get his team to clear out. In tight. And a foul before the shots. Good move by Caden Powell. Marcus Shaver Jr., the ankle's tender, but he's feeling pretty good tonight.
He's back. You've got to find him in pick and roll situations. You don't, it's going to be a long night on the defensive end.
Tomorrow at noon Eastern. Good time to get on the pitch. CBS Sports Network and Paramount Plus bring you Serie A, the kickoff between Juventus and Fiorentina. Capital City, Boise, Idaho, Mountain West. The Broncos, one of 5 teams in the top 48 in the net. Ducell got that one to go. And so Wyoming hits a 3. They're 1 of 4 from distance. It's a good sign for the Cowboys with Ducell. He can heat up. He leads them with 39 threes on the year. Maldonado got a hand on that. This cat plays so hard and is such a leader. I mean, and he's doing it with a team around him that's really thin and very inexperienced.
They ask a lot of him. They ask him to score. They ask him to rebound, typically defend the other team's best perimeter player, facilitate for others. His numbers dipped a little bit at the start of the season, but it doesn't show you the full story of how important he is to Wyoming.
We're just watching him for this first 9 minutes of the game. There's Ducell again. He got that one.
Well, that's another great example, sorry, Rich, about his value. He was the one that set the great screen there to open up Ducell.
And just like that, Wyoming, with a couple threes, is within a point. It's a 6-0 run. Milner, Kuzmanovic in the ball game for Boise State. Degenhardt's begging for the ball. Barnhart's fronting him. That's a size advantage for Boise State right there. Degenhardt takes him to the paint and scores over him.
Oh, the patience on the catch. Face, see if a double's coming, and attack on your terms.
Ducell feeling it right now. Maldonado picks it off the hardwood. And Ducell maybe getting a little too fast there. Shot clock's under 10. Maldonado sees the clock, goes to work, crossing over, dishing. Oh! Odin!
What a back cut, what a fine, unbelievable finish. His head was up near the level of the rim.
Barnhart holding Degenhart in the lane. This is late clock offense at its best.
Thankful we get another look at that. Maldonado again showing the ability to find others. Oden the recognition on the cut.
Halfway through first half and a 1-point game here. 3 team fouls on Wyoming. Broncos with just 2. Been a clean game pretty much so far. Abo's back in. So is Shaver. Shaver has come to life after missing a game with an ankle injury. He's got 7 points. Clock's down. Abo. And a rebound, an offensive rebound by Smith. Smith again. And a nice job by the freshman, Nate Barnhart.
That's how he can impact the game. With his length, with his timing. He's begun to play a lot more towards the second half of the season. Had a really good game against Air Force. His first start, double figures, perfect 5 of 5 from the field.
Little pick and pop. Thompson's line drive 3 is off, though. Abo with the rebound. Shaver. Oh, he had a spot there. Step back 3. Got it.
That ankle looks all right there. He got the defense dancing, creates his space, knocks it down.
He had a sliver of space before that and then created some more of his own. Maldonado against Smith. Penetrates, almost walks. Oden rises. Smith has the rebound. Broncos back up 4.
Drag it!
Shaver now 4 of 6, 2 of 3 from distance. Barnhart is tall and lanky, and he sent that one back.
A second block of the night for Barnhart, but Najee Smith, understand, recognize the hot guy right now, Marcus Shaver. Get the ball to him, play out of pick and rolls in transition.
Jeff Linder told us, Dan, today he's going to have to manage timeouts and may take a few in the first half if he sees his guys, especially Maldonado, getting gassed. Rice nestles that one in.
That's a play that he could not have made a season ago. With coming off of different injuries, he wasn't a guy who could put the ball on the deck, have a little bit of pop, create space. He was more of a catch-and-shoot guy this year. Max Rice has turned into a great player in the Mountain West.
Wenzel through a series of screens. Shaver bumps him. And a timeout on the floor. Marcus Shaver Jr. is lighting it up right now.
Well, you get the defense dancing, you're going to create all the opportunities you want. Marcus Shaver knocks it down from straight away.
Tuesday night we'll be back in the Mountain West. And it's Wyoming continuing this road trip onto the pit against New Mexico, 10 Eastern here on CBS Sports Network. Of course, New Mexico last night lost at Air Force. Remember, Air Force gave Boise State all they could take as well at Colorado Springs. Here's the tournament profile for New Mexico. Now, Jerry Palm's tournament probability was done before that upset the other night. So New Mexico right now 48 in the net. But certainly the good news is there are plenty of opportunities for New Mexico to bounce back because you've got 5 teams in this conference in that top 48 in the net.
And with that, 4 of their remaining games are against quad 1 or quad 2 opportunities.
Maldonado, nice spinning bucket. Wyoming's hanging in there right now. They lost to UNLV 69-59 on Wednesday. Played well defensively in that game. They held UNLV to 33% from the field. Rice is driving and rising. Got it up on the rim, and a rebounding foul on Wyoming and Xavier Dussel. That's something to watch, is foul trouble for Wyoming. It's, I know, something that you had on your list.
A couple ways you can do that is you could double the post when you think you're trying to get isolated in that situation. At times, even though it's not normal for a Jeff Linder team, you can go zone.
Offensive rebound, Degenhart. And the lead back up to 6. And Maldonado is just having to do it all right now for the Cowboys.
I'm not surprised to see a little three-quarter court pressure. Boise State worked on it today and shoot around. As much as they can make Maldonado exert energy, the better it is for them.
Oden spins into the lane and missed it. Shaver, who is the best rebounding guard in the nation at 6'3" or under.
Already 4 rebounds on the night. In the first matchup of these two teams, Shaver actually almost had a triple-double. 10 points, 8 assists, and 9 rebounds.
That one, haven't seen that. And that's a bucket for Najee Smith off of a bizarre shot that went straight up in the air.
Well, Abo's hoping that it doesn't get counted as a shot attempt, but you're right, Rich. It went about 25 feet straight up in the air.
That's the result. The ball had come down by then. And chance for a three-point play for a very unconventional but very effective player, Najee Smith. Not pretty, but effective.
That's a great way to put it. Missed the free throw there. But Abo, another opportunity.
Looking for help. Finds Jace Whiting, who's checked in for the first time. Whiting is a freshman. Smith, there's that globe rotation side spin.
Yeah. Traditional shooters, a great shooter like Marcus Shaver, the ball will spin almost perfectly with backspin. Najee Smith kind of has a spin going sideways, almost like a globe, as you mentioned.
Powell, oh, that's a charge. Powell called for it. Degenhart took it.
A tremendous job guarding this pick and roll by Degenhart. In drop coverage, gets back to the cutting Powell, takes it in the chest.
So Whiting in to give Shaver a breather. Marcus Shaver's got 10 to lead Boise State. Abo baseline, cut off by Wenzel. Clock's down. And a reaching foul there by Caden Powell. And the fouls are starting to mount on a team that is precariously thin.
And a lot of these Wyoming players, such as Powell and Barnhart, you know, they're fairly inexperienced. This end of the season is going to be a great chance for them to build their experience level moving into next year. But understanding of when to go and when to stay at home in situations like this. Powell's kind of hanging out, not sure when to go. He goes, but you go to close the space and not give an angle, not swiping down at the ball.
Abo gives Boise State their biggest lead of the night. Yeah, Powell's a true freshman. Barnhart, who came in for him, is a redshirt freshman who's, I know, really didn't play a whole lot at the start of the year, but has blossomed. He was actually the freshman of the week in the Mountain West last week. Wenzel off balance when he threw that three up. Broncos winning the war on the boards right now. Degenhart begging for it. That's against Maldonado. This is a mismatch here. Maldonado knows how this feels on the other end. That's a offensive foul bordering on a flop.
Yeah, Leon Rice over there asking for a flop, and on first sight, to me, it looked like a flop. I don't think this is a charge in any way. Maldonado sells it. That's a tough one for Boise State.
There aren't very many play-ons these days, right?
Oh.
Or non-calls. It's with the flop rule. You either get a flop or you get a charge, it feels like. Dussel stripped to the ball. Rice got a hand. Degenhardt. This is Rice. Lob pass. Abo misses. Smith doesn't.
And Degenhardt and Abo, not sure who that was for, weren't able to convert, but it doesn't matter. Najee Smith cleans up the mess, finishes it with his own two-hand slam over the top. Don't go anywhere. Boise State is on a tremendous run here at ExtraMile Arena.
AT&T 5G at the half is coming up. The Brent Stover Band is standing by. John Rothstein, Chris Walker, Seth Davis. With a busy night. They saw St. Mary's bounce back already with a win over Portland. They'll get you ready for tonight's final game in the Mountain West as well. And they'll talk about this guy, Marcus Shaver Jr.
Well, Leon Rice is excited to have him back and looking like his own self. He's tremendous at attacking, getting to the rim in ball screen situations. He can make the reads if you go under to knock him down. If you're late in your rotations, he can make you uncomfortable and knock it down from deep. Good start for him.
Utah State at San Jose State is our nightcap in the Mountain West tonight.
Big game for Utah State. Being on the road, it's a quad 2 opportunity at San Jose State, who's playing really well under Tim Miles. But Utah State, they need quad 1 and quad 2 wins in the worst way.
Oden backing in. Barnhart goes down hard, and the foul is on Barnhart. Degenhardt has done a nice job of not fouling because Wyoming has tried to back him down for 2 reasons. A, try to get points, but B, get him in foul trouble, and he hasn't bitten. Now, I think they're going to change that call. So it was on Barnhart. At least one official pointed at him. But the foul is going to go on Abo.
Get another look at it. Obviously, they do isolate against Degenhardt on the block, but Abo flying in from the weak side. A lot of contact, but to be honest, that to me should have been a no call.
Well, Leon Rice out on the floor right now. John Higgins said, hey, you can talk to us, but get off the floor. I mean, it looked like Abo had great rebounding position. Maybe he hooked Barnhart's arm at the end. I don't know.
That should have been a no call, but it is what it is. Move on to the next play.
That's a really strong move by Brendan Wenzel. Transfer from Utah, who missed a month with a knee injury. Anytime Nathan Mensah of San Diego State falls on your knee, you're going to miss some time, and he missed a whole month. 10-point Bronco lead. Rice getting inside. Degenhardt driving, feeding. Oh, reverse! Oh! Najee Smith.
Wow, what a pass from Degenhardt. I wasn't quite sure what Smith was going to do when he elevated. Wasn't expecting that, but impressive for the young man from Spokane, Washington, out of Lewis and Clark High School.
Oden, good ball fake. Can't finish the drive. Smith with the rebound. He does a little bit of everything for this Boise State team. And the Broncos are dominant on the boards right now, +9. Degenhardt.
Execution on the high-low. Smith to Degenhardt. You throw that pass where only your teammate can catch it.
Jeff Linder going to use one of these timeouts. A 30-second timeout, 33-19 Broncos. This is a great pass, and Dan, I don't know if he knew what he was going to do when he went up, but Najee Smith has had a really nice stretch here.
He has. He brings so much energy to the floor. You said you didn't know what he was going to do. He might not have known what he was going to do when he went up. Little shrug of the shoulders, big time smile there. And then you get the point guard, Jace Whiting. Hey, get back on defense. Get to be where you need to be.
He's effectively awkward in his game. I mean, he's just not a conventional player, but he just makes plays. Wenzel, Rice fouled him. See the run by Boise State. They had a run to start the game, and Wyoming hit some threes and got back into it. But the Broncos' run right now has put some real distance between themselves and the Cowboys. Dussel knocked away from behind. Shaver's back in. Degenhart can shoot the three, and he does.
His numbers from beyond the arc aren't what they were a season ago, Degenhart, but they will creep up as the season goes along. He's too good of a shooter.
That's a turnover. Degenhart, 11 points in this ball game.
One of the best times for bigs who can shoot it like Degenhart to shoot a three is in transition. Most bigs think get back to the rim, get back to the paint, protect that first. You stop behind the line, you're going to have many opportunities.
Smith.
He's feeling it.
He is. Shaver finds Rice. Degenhart. A three. Again.
Perimeter to big ball screen. Dussel is the perimeter, not used to guarding it. Degenhart reads it, reacts, knocks the three.
Strong move by Maldonado. Seven now for Hunter Maldonado. Under a minute left, first half. Dominant performance by the Broncos. Shaver underneath. Missed it. Odie steps into a three, and that bounces up over the backboard. Wyoming now 2 of 8 from distance.
Wyoming defender Dussel, who's guarding this pick and roll, has to be up at the point of the screen. If you're not the player coming off, this case it's Degenhart, you give him all the time and space, and you can't do that with a good shooter like Degenhart.
Well, I mean, he just adds, Shaver's return just adds another three-point threat, which, you know, should open things up. Certainly it did the last two for Degenhart, but Max Rice is a really good three-point shooter right now.
Well, Shaver's not your traditional point guard. He's more of a combo guard because he can score it so well. Leon Rice wants to put him in those positions, but he's also a cerebral enough player where he understands spacing, angles, defense cuts things off for me. I make the right decision and find guys.
Shaver, of course, last year, deservedly so, got a reputation for hitting big shots. 5 game winners or tying shots in the last seconds of games. He had one this year against San Jose State.
If you're going to make a run in March, you have to have a player who's not afraid of the big moment.
Look at Maldonado, man. This guy is a warrior. At times it feels like he's out there by himself.
He just plays so hard. He's fearless as far as the consequences, good or bad. He wants to play to win.
Shaver against Maldonado. The switch by Thompson. Shaver, step back on his way. No. It's knocked out of bounds. But the Broncos, Tyson Degenhart, Marcus Shaver Jr., they combine for 26. Jeff Linder and the Cowboys are on their heels and down 41-23. After these commercial messages, stay tuned for AT&T at the half. Broncos up 41-23. Back in Boise, Tyson Degenhart, Najee Smith, and the Broncos have opened up a 41-23 lead over the Cowboys from Wyoming. Boise State number 26 in the net, and they're playing like it tonight. Rich Welts along with Dan Dickow. This was impressive because Wyoming fell down early, made a run, got even, and the Broncos, Marcus Shaver in particular, put the foot down.
Yeah, Marcus Shaver was tremendous early, creating problems for Wyoming on the defensive end. He had his way with pick and roll opportunities, getting to the basket, finishing, as well as making reads when they made mistakes on the outside. He's so crafty and shifty getting to his spots on the outside. Now the defense has to focus in on him. He can start spreading it around and finding other guys. Tyson Degenhart was the recipient of a couple big threes down the stretch to really extend that lead.
Yeah, they combined for 26 points and were 10 of 15 from the field. Sleep Number brings you the first half stats. Troubling stuff for Wyoming, the points off turnovers. And that's not something that they can afford to have happen in the second half. Let's see what adjustments are made. Long way to go here for Wyoming. Remember, they're very, very thin, having lost 3 players who left the program this week. And of course, Noah Reynolds, their leading scorer, is out for the season, and Graham Ike, the preseason player of the year, out as well. Max Rice with a baseline drive, and the Broncos open with a field goal and a 20-point lead now. Dussel. Maldonado clocks down. Maldonado takes a peek at it, and it's go time. Wenzel's 3. And that's been a problem for Wyoming tonight. They're 2 of 9 from distance.
A great possession defensively, Boise State. A number of switches to take things away, and then being solid and not getting blown by at the end of the shot clock, but contesting, making shots go over the top.
Degenhart spinning. Maldonado hurt, holding his left arm and in a lot of pain at midcourt. But this is not good. In a season where everything has gone wrong for Jeff Linder and the Cowboys, it's not just that they've lost some players. It's that they've lost 2 of their very best, and Ike and Reynolds, and now Maldonado's banged up.
Watch that left arm, see if we can see what may have happened. Oh, looked as if maybe a little bit of a hyperextension. Hopefully he's all right, because that would be a difficult blow to handle for Wyoming.
Wenzel crosses over, good ball fake, but he's fouled before the shot. Boy, he's in a lot of pain there. As we told you, he's absolutely been a warrior through all of the attrition here. Second foul on Rice. Oden hits a 3. He struggled for the field in the first half, was 1 of 8. That's his first 3.
Well, it's going to be an adjustment for him as well. He's played really well. Last 3 games, all in double figures. He's a focal point of defensive attacks now.
Abo. Broncos have scored inside and outside. And Maldonado is on his way off the court, and he's headed to the locker room. Wenzel. I don't know if Pistol Pete, the mascot, has any eligibility left, but they may need him.
They are in a world of hurt with injuries. Hopefully Maldonado's okay.
Jeff Linder has had a lot of his coaching friends. Looked like he got that arm caught up in Degenhart. He's had a lot of his coaching friends call him this year just to check in on him and say, hey, you okay? Another turnover. Shaver driving. Shaver blocked. Wenzel got it. And it last touched Shaver. So Wyoming gets the ball. Crowd, which is huge here tonight, not real happy. This place holds over 12,000. And my guess is they've got close to 12 in here.
With Maldonado now out of the game, Wyoming has no true ball handler. They're going to rely on Ducell, who's a shooter, to get him into offense.
Wenzel's going to get 2 free throws here. I mean, they've been playing almost positionless basketball out of necessity anyways, but I mean, Maldonado is the heart and soul.
Yeah, he plays point guard, but he's not your typical point guard. He enters you in to kind of your continuity motion offense, but when he has opportunities, he turns drives into post-ups, does Maldonado, and creates it that way. He creates by taking advantage of opportunities and mismatches.
Wenzel with a couple free throws. Ducell has the job of chasing Shaver all over the place. And now Barnhart switched off on him. Shaver kicked it loose.
That's the second turnover here in the second half where Shaver's been isolated up top. Jace Whiting's coming to check him out. Maybe Leon Rice wants to give him a little bit of a breather. He has missed some time with that injury, but not like him.
And he picks up the foul. That's his second foul. Ducell, the junior out of Scottsdale, running the show. Offensive foul there. Hunter Thompson not only with a moving screen, but a rather aggressive screen.
Little extracurriculars there with his feet as well as his upper body. But that doesn't happen unless Abo gives it extra effort on the defensive end to fight over that screen and stay in the action. Too many players will see a screen coming and they'll die on the screen. A lot of coaches call it, don't be a magnet to the screen. He fought through that screen. The result of moving call on the screen from Thompson,
who sits down with 3 personal fouls. Rice head fake. He's been a really good player this year, especially in conference games. Now that that hip surgery is over a year gone by. Ball's tipped. Broncos gonna lose it. Wyoming gets it back.
Boise State's been loose with the ball here in the second half. Only 3 turnovers in the first. They've now had 3 in the first 4 minutes of the second half.
I know they're not happy, but it's great to see them here,
Yeah.
right? I mean, it's been a while since this arena has felt this full.
It's just a great league as far as venues. There's no easy road wins in this league.
Oden step back 3.
They needed that, as did he. But, you know, you look across this league. San Diego State obviously has a great home environment. Utah State has a great one. Wyoming, when they get it going, it's a great place to play. Air Force and San Jose State have been the 2 that maybe you could say they're not great home court advantages, but both of those teams are playing really well this year.
Actually had that same conversation with Gloria Navarez, the new Mountain West commissioner who's here tonight, and she's marveling at this crowd and this facility on her tour across the Mountain West. There she is, the commish is in the house, and she's watching a really good Boise State team. In the Mountain West tonight, Boise, Idaho, 47-31. Broncos in control of this one. AP top 10. Tennessee loses on another buzzer beater. Missouri gets them. UCLA is at Oregon tonight. Arizona, that's a tighter one against Stanford. Jeep with the AP top 10.
Such a topsy-turvy year in college basketball. There's no true dominant team. So there's no clear-cut favorites to make the Final Four. Purdue with Zach Edey's looking like they may be the favorite, but I really like Alabama with freshman Brandon Miller.
Gloria Navarez, Mountain West commissioner. We told you she's here. And one of the I think, points for the Mountain West that she's proudest of, and I think all the basketball coaches and everybody in the conference is, look at this. Top 7 conferences by net ranking. Look at where the Mountain West is. Ahead of the Pac-12, ahead of the ACC, the highest rated conference in the West.
You've got 4 teams in the top 50. New Mexico was in the top 40 until their last loss. 5, excuse me. And then the fact that the bottom has really gotten better from a season ago.
That's nice stuff by Wyoming. Out of the timeout, and the lead cut to 14. If you're just joining us, Wyoming is really shorthanded, and it got worse when Hunter Maldonado, their leader, an all-Mountain West pick last year, went to the locker room with an apparent elbow injury. That's going Cowboys' way.
Wyoming's been much more active on the defensive end of the floor here in the second half, whether it's on the ball with their hands or in a post situation like that. Not giving an angle and then having the active hands to poke it away.
So Dussel having to handle the point guard duties, not something he's done a lot of. Oden is heated up here, hit a couple threes. This is Oden driving, getting to the rim, missed the layup. Powell with the rebound, put back is short, another rebound. Powell with the hook, and it's good. Caden Powell, how about that? And look at Jeff Linder getting fired up. The Cowboys have lost their leader, but they're still fighting. In Boise tonight, outmanned, but the Cowboys not giving up. 12-point game. Broncos on top here, 47-35. Let me tell you about Aurelius Buckner, the first black student athlete at Boise State back when they were Boise Junior College. 1944, he played football, he played baseball, captain of the basketball team, led him in scoring. And after college, he ended up being a football and basketball referee locally here for high schools, and then into college, eventually working in the Big Sky when Boise State was in that conference. CBS Sports celebrates Black history, its limitless culture, and undeniable impact. Happy Black History Month. 47-35, a lot of storylines here. Wyoming, of course, had 3 players leave the program. They've had 2 terrific players, their leading scorer, and the Conference Player of the Year preseason out for the season with injuries. And now Hunter Maldonado in the locker room with what looks like an elbow injury. But they've cut this Boise State lead down to 12 and are fighting tooth and nail with one of the best teams in the West in Boise State. Degenhardt backing in. Jump hook. And it's good. This guy is just getting better and better by the day. He's just a sophomore out of Spokane.
He plays with a composure and a calmness beyond his years. He just takes his time, realizes no doubles coming, gets to his spot. And he can finish either hand.
Degenhardt has 18. Powell stripped to the ball. Degenhardt ahead to Rice. Ooh, that's a charge. He had Degenhardt on the kick, but Rice couldn't stop. And a good job by Wyoming. 3rd foul. And the coach's son, Max Rice, who's averaging 15 a game in league play.
And I like the adjustment. Boise State has gone back to the full court pressure, especially with Maldonado out. Dussel, not your prototypical ball handler, more of a catch and shoot guy on the season, but put him in situations where he's uncomfortable, he has to make decisions.
Lucas Milner, Kobe Young in for Boise State. Wenzel, Thompson, all these guys can shoot threes. Oden's hit 2. Degenhardt with the trail block. This is Young, redshirt freshman. Ooh, goodness. Young went up, and he appeared to hit the backboard. I'm not sure if And then there was contact with Dussel. There was a lot going on. Young is back up on his feet. That's good to see. Watch this thing. All right, this is the block first. I think he caught his arm on the backboard. He did.
Yeah. Young player out of Tri-Cities, Washington area. They've got a lot of high hopes for him.
And you saw there, Dussel was hit at the start of the play. The officials are over at the monitor, and they could be watching two parts of that play, right? The Dussel getting hit early.
Well, because Dussel got hit, what looked from our vantage point and on the replay above his chest, the officials have the ability to go look at it and see if there should be a flagrant 1 or 2 deemed. I don't think so. It seemed as if it was all incidental contact. And then the play at the rim with Young, I felt that it was the same. It was just a normal foul.
So a normal foul at the bucket. Here's the start of it. Watch Dussel. Right there, that swing of the arms. So they didn't see anything there. Didn't see anything at the rim. So no foul at all on the layup. And an offensive foul here as the possession continues.
I think the offensive foul is on Milner for clearing out some extra space. You want to duck in, but you don't want to keep pushing the defense out of the way. Good call from the official.
I think the only foul on that sequence was the side of the backboard. Wetzel, step back, that's a 2, and he hits it. His foot was on the line, but a nice touch. And the Cowboys, hanging in there right around a 12 or a 14-point deficit.
Well, they're going to need to see more of that. He's been fairly inconsistent as far as scoring the ball. 2 games this season with 20-plus points, but he's had a number of games where he's been held scoreless or 1 bucket is all.
Milner's fouled on the catch and not the shoot. Still no sign of Hunter Maldonado. He's not come out of the locker room.
Wenzel has got to get untracked. That's a good start. Wyoming hanging tough.
College basketball on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure.
Almost a capacity crowd tonight watching Boise State. The Broncos trying to get to 9-3 in the Mountain West and improve on what is a really nice net ranking at 26. San Diego State has won today. They look good taking care of UNLV down in San Diego.
That net ranking has become very important.
So this is the run. We've been talking about Wyoming. They're without Maldonado now. If you've been watching us, they're without just a ton of really talented players. But these guys, many of these guys hadn't played a whole lot until 2-3 weeks ago. They're hanging in there right now. I know they're down 12, but they've cut that deficit down from what was a large lead. 22, the biggest lead for Boise State.
Well, guys are making shots on the offensive end of the floor, but defensively, they've been really good in this first 8.5 minutes of the second half. They forced 7 Boise State turnovers in that time.
Shaver into the lane. And Dussel gets called for the foul. Jeff Linder not happy with that one. Second personal on Dussel.
I thought that was good defense.
We haven't really discussed this, but there's obviously a connection between Jeff Linder and Leon Rice. Linder was here at Boise State as an assistant to Leon. This is the 7th time they've met, and Boise State 5-1 in those meetings. Of course, Jeff Linder inherited a program in disarray and walked in during COVID as well. So Getting them to the NCAA tournament was a minor miracle last year.
I thought it was one of the best coaching jobs in all of college basketball last year. It's one of the reasons they had such high hopes. You had a couple of transfers that didn't work out, unfortunately. And then Graham Ike, the player of the year in the preseason non-conference, is out all year. Could never have a chance to gel.
I think Odin trying to do a little too much. And guess who's just came back to the bench, and guess who's coming into the game?
It's a good sign for Wyoming.
Hunter Maldonado.
We'll have to keep an eye on if he's able to dribble with his left hand effectively. That did not look like it felt good.
He had that pad on before. Shot clock's down. Barnhart's got to get a shot away. Falling away. He does. The rebound at Kobe Young. Maldonado now working against Shaver. Smith into the paint. That's a foul. Hunter Thompson, his 4th personal foul. Let's take a look.
He got him right at the end. I mean, Thompson, great job on the initial spin move to keep Najee Smith away from a clear, easy layup. But you made the comment earlier in the broadcast, in a unique, unusual game for Najee Smith. Kind of corkscrewed his way into an opportunity and into contact.
Effectively awkward.
Yes, that was the description you used. I like it.
In a good way, not a bad way. That's not a criticism. He's just such a unique guy. Does so many good things for this team. Now with Maldonado back in, let's see who's handling the ball. Wenzel launches and hits a 3. He had a clean look at that. He's got 9 points. Boise State hasn't hit a field goal in almost 4 minutes. Degenhardt. Smith.
But guess who? Don't have to call a play for him. You don't have to expect anything than all-out effort and hustle from Najee Smith, and he comes up with impactful plays time and time again.
Maldonado dribbling with that left arm. That's a good sign. Wants the ball, shoots it. Oh, man. The elbow, not a problem there, although, you know, he's running with it kind of tucked in to his body. And now Degenhardt is limping to the Boise State bench. Maldonado still looks uncomfortable with that arm, but that was a pure stroke. And now Degenhardt in a lot of pain now, just beyond the Boise State bench. Halfway, there's a lot of time left in this game. We're at 9:20 left.
Especially the way that Wyoming is locked in defensively, pressuring the ball, coming up with steals.
Shaver, just a reminder that he's still here. 17. He's hit 3 threes. Maldonado going strong. Whips it out. Good job by Milner to close out. Wenzel. Smith. Oh, that's Powell who got it away from Smith. Wyoming down by 13 now. Stripped. Tough catch. Maldonado has it. Can't save it. Dussel fouls.
Just sloppy offensively here in the second half for Boise State with 8 turnovers. It's allowed Wyoming to make this interesting the way that they've shot the ball. need production from other guys with all the injuries they have. But Powell, active on the glass, coming up with another opportunity.
Shaver off the screen. Rice has had a quiet night, 2 of 5 for 4 points. Lost it. Dussel takes the 3 and missed it. Here comes Smith. Shaver, kick. Rice, launch.
Shaver puts so much pressure on your defense. You help just a little bit too much. He's a willing passer, finds Max Rice in the corner, who knocks it down.
Lord, White! Talk to him, Lucas!
Dussel. Milner with the rebound. The Broncos Shaver. Boy, Smith barged in. Pried the rebound loose. May have fouled to get it, but there was no whistle.
May have fouled, you're right, but every team needs a Najee Smith.
Yeah. Yeah, every coach in the Mountain West would sign up for that, right?
Miss a shot, no problem. We got Najee Smith. Boise State making a run.
Utah State, San Jose State is coming up. Mountain West nightcap for a busy day here on CBS Sports Network. That will be game 6 of the day for us. Here in the Mountain West, a couple of injuries to key players. This is Hunter Maldonado. See him get his left arm hooked, and Dagenhart spins. And you thought possibly a hyperextension. He was in the locker room getting treatment for about 20 minutes. Now here's Dagenhart's injury. And it may have been the knee of Barnhart that caught him on the hip. You could see him seize up right there. The Dagenhart immediately left the floor. He sat off the bench, got treatment, is back on his feet. Maldonado emerged from the locker room still kind of clutching that left arm to his torso. Promptly walked right to the scorer's table, checked in, and hit a 3.
Well, Jeff Linder told us at shoot-around just about the importance of Hunter Maldonado to this program. I mean, he probably could have went somewhere else in the transfer portal, as many players have done. Wanted to stay in Laramie for his last season. He had high expectations himself for this season with the newcomers, the returning players, and then injuries and kind of turmoil beset this program. But you can't blame him. He's given it his all.
Thompson. Maldonado. Ooh, and he goes down on that elbow. There may have been a clock issue coming out of that last timeout. And we are checking on that right now. Abo. Jumper. And he's fouled. So let's go back to the start of this possession. And the clock just freezes up at 7:24. And it's frozen for a while there. I'm being told about 20 seconds at least.
And when the last timeout was called, and players started going to their respective benches, Leon Rice went over to the scorer's table to try to get that figured out.
Well, this run by Boise State, 7-0 run, stretches the lead back to 20. Maldonado is loose. Maldonado scores. Hunter Maldonado, sore elbow and all, has got 14, 6 of 7 from the field, 3 assists.
Wyoming now in 1-3-1 zone. We'll see if they trap out of it or just make Boise State uncomfortable. Many times going to a zone is just to get a team out of their rhythm.
Or maybe to stay out of foul trouble. Thompson, though, picks up the foul, and that's his 5th.
It's almost as if you foreshadowed that call, Rich. You beat me to the comment about foul trouble, and then you give up an offensive rebound, which many times can be a problem being in a zone. Hunter Thompson clearly picks up his 5th there.
All right, Dan Dickow, for Wyoming, the big picture here is obviously they're playing without a lot of talent. They don't have a lot of depth. They've lost so many key players. The hope is the guys that are getting playing time, the young players, Wenzel and Powell and Dussel, Oden, guys that hadn't had a lot of run in their career, that next year, when EK is back and healthy and they add to their roster, that pays off somehow. There's Degenhart, and that's a good sign.
That is a good sign that he's back, ready to check in. But, you know, on the Wyoming thoughts is this is an opportunity for guys like Wenzel, Oden, going into their senior year to show that they're worthy of a prominent role. For the younger guys such as Barnhart and Powell to show that, hey, when I got minutes, I showed growth and I can produce.
Maldonado, Powell has the rebound. I like him. He's another guy, freshman, that has a really high ceiling. Ball's out of bounds, and it's Boise State ball.
I would agree with you on Powell. He's long, he's active. You can tell, because he only weighs a little over 200 pounds, that he's going to get stronger.
Maldonado fouls. Abos going to the line.
I think Abo's been a tremendous addition to this league. You know, he hasn't gotten a lot of fanfare as far as media-wise, but he's led the Broncos in scoring on 7 different occasions. He's a good shooter from the outside at 41%. He's done a really good job as of late of getting to the free throw line. Because he shoots it well from the three-point line, defenses have to honor it. They close out and he attacks off the dribble, such as that last possession.
And with their change of profile to being a really, really good defensive team, when you come in here now, you're going to have to play defense.
And he came from a program, Texas Tech, that you weren't going to be recruited by them if you couldn't play defense. So he already had that mindset coming in.
Nice find by Dussel. Powell's fouled on the floor. Well, in the Mountain West, there's it's top heavy right now with 5 teams in the top 48 in the net. Boise State 26 in the net, right behind San Diego State, who's 22 in the net. Obviously, the hope is for it would be wonderful to have 5 teams in, and at the same time get some good seeds out of that.
Yeah, last year 4 teams. Unfortunately, they weren't able to come away with any wins in the NCAA tournament. But, you know, if New Mexico, as Najee Smith gets another corkscrew finish underneath, if New Mexico can right the ship from what they've done the last couple weeks where they've lost 4 of their last 5, you know, they've got an opportunity because they still have 5 quad 1, quad 2 opportunities. I would not put it past the league to get 5 in. I think 4 is certain, barring any collapses from those teams, but I would love to see 5 in.
19-point game here. Smith, step back. And tonight's game was kind of a test, right? Can you hold serve after 8 days off? This is going to be a flop call. Degenhardt with the left hand. So a flop, and Rice is going to the line, and he'll shoot those free throws when we get back. 71-50. Broncos. Back in the Mountain West, 71-50. Boise State, a 21-point lead. Dan Dickow earlier tonight outlining his important coaching points. How'd you do, Dan?
Well, Wyoming's made threes in particular in the second half. They unfortunately haven't been able to stay out of too much foul trouble. Hunter Thompson has just fouled out, but Boise State, they didn't force enough turnovers to really kind of, I think, put Wyoming in a uncomfortable situation, but they've done enough, and they definitely have dominated the glass. Plus 18 on the evening in that category.
Pound for Pound is brought to you by Rogue Fitness. And we are going rogue with Tyson Degenhardt and Najee Smith.
They've had a couple great connections throughout the evening. A high-low, that baseline bounce pass, but Najee Smith just brings all the energy, makes all the effort plays that impact winning.
2 Spokane kids. Degenhardt and Smith. That's the flop shot, so to speak. Is that a term now, the flop shot? I know that maybe in,
it's like in golf, the flop shot over a tight pin over a bunker.
Well, that's literally what that was. That was a flop shot.
The free throw shot.
Post-flop.
Post-flop. I like it. I'm going to have to remember that.
Maldonado is not out there right now, by the way. That's an ambitious drive. No reset on the shot clock. And a foul on Boise State's Najee Smith. That's his 3rd. Hunter Maldonado, that elbow bent awkwardly in the locker room, getting treatment for a long time. Came out, played well. But for most of the time, he kind of had that left arm tucked in tight. This big crowd here tonight welcoming Marcus Shaver back. Rice. And it drops.
Used every part of the rim on the reverse layup. That's now 5 Broncos, every starter in double figures. Great balance tonight.
Oden, round a screen, and he hits. Now remember, Boise State last played on February 3rd, and they lost it by 20 at San Diego State in a game that Shaver did not play in. And their net ranking really didn't take a hit after that game, because they sit at 26. San Diego State was 1 today at 22. Nevada, Steve Alpert's done a wonderful job there this year, 31. Utah State, 33. And New Mexico got bounced from 38 to 48 with their loss last night at Air Force. And keep in mind, Boise State went to Air Force and won by, I think, 5 or 7. It was tight. San Diego State went to Air Force, and if Air Force hits their free throws that night, that's a tie game or an Air Force lead.
It's becoming a tough place to play again under Joe Scott.
Dussel. Oden, it's go time for him. No reset on the clock. And a 3 by Dussel and a timeout by Wyoming. Dussel with the 3. He's got 11 in the game, and we'll step aside. 20-point lead for the Broncos. We showed you the Mountain West net rankings. 22-26, 31-33 is San Diego State, Boise State, Nevada, Utah State. The net mirrors the NCAA selection criteria. It first came in 2019. And these are the teams that had the best net that didn't get to the dance. And Dan, it looks like in that first year, 2019, they had to work out some of the wrinkles because Oklahoma since then had the best, and that's all the way at 39.
And if that holds true, and it would be interesting to see what they decide, because Utah State currently sits at 33. They're out from a lot of bracketologists, where New Mexico at 48 is in. A lot of people would look at it because of the quad 1 and quad 2 wins right now would be the reason Utah State is considered that way. They don't have a single quad 1 win at this time, does Utah State, but they've got opportunities coming up. They've got 4 quad 1, quad 2 opportunities to finish Mountain West playoff.
Dussel, and Dussel gets hit, and he goes down hard. I think, though, as the bracketologist, and Jerry Palm is CBS's guy, as they re-bracket and update after this weekend, my guess is that Utah State pops in and maybe New Mexico pops out.
I would think so, but at the end of the day, you know, as a former player from what a lot of people term a mid-major conference, the WCC, I would love to see them value those type of leagues. The Mountain West, the WCC, and Missouri Valley. It brings so much excitement when those type of teams get into the NCAA tournament, as opposed to a team that from a power conference that might have a losing record. That's a rant that I've had for a number of years. I'm sure I could take a few more minutes to go on and on about it, but
it's all right. You gave a great speech the other night when your number was retired, and by great, it was heartfelt and it was brief. So your rant is duly noted.
Well, thank you very much.
Number 21 now hangs in the rafters. Oden pushes Rice, and the officials race in.
But what was Oden upset about? He stole the ball, has a breakaway. Max Rice makes a basketball play, not giving up on it. Tries to slap it away. There's nothing dirty about that at all. Oden with the extracurriculars, he's lucky he missed that push right there.
Is a push equivalent to a swing?
Not quite, but there was legitimate intent there.
Well, he had a chance after that when they were chest to chest, and he didn't do anything. Maybe that works in his favor.
I believe they gave him a technical foul, and the officials are going over to confirm that it shouldn't be anything more, but Max Rice just made a basketball play. Frustration after you have a turnover, the thing you do, next play is get back on defense and try to contest a possible layup at the other end. It was the reaction from Oden that was out of line.
And here are the flagrant descriptors for 1 and 2. Avoidable unnecessary contact, hooking, pushing, holding. So there's your push, but he didn't really push him. He looked like he attempted to push, and he whiffed.
Yeah, I mean, my question is then maybe they were looking at something to give to Max Rice, which, again, should not be the case. That's just a foul.
And he did get a little contact on the push.
A little whisper of a push, I guess you could call it.
And you see John Higgins in there who's pointing at Oden as if to say that's, I think you could see him tee him up.
And this is a good officiating crew. Higgins has worked many Final Fours. Mike Reed's a good official as well as Rick O'Neal. So they got it under control in a hurry.
That's John Higgins. And, you know, you see him like almost every night in a different conference. And I asked him, hey, where are you tomorrow? He said, I'll be watching the game. And I said, which game? He said, Super Bowl. I'm going home to Omaha for that. So he's got an off day tomorrow to watch the Super Bowl. Dan Dickow is getting an explanation from the official. What do you got?
So we actually have 3 technical fouls.
Really?
Max Rice, Jeremiah Oden, and Lucas Milner from Boise State, who was that 3rd player to come into the mix, kind of making sure nothing occurred. So the two of the technical fouls cancel out 2 free throw attempts, so we'll only have 2 free throws here.
$75-57. So, Dan, nothing flagrant, just technicals.
Yes.
Old-fashioned technicals.
Old-fashioned technicals.
I would guess as well that for Oden, there's a lot of frustration for what's this team's been going through.
Sure.
And even today or tonight without, you know, some of their best players. Maldonado injured for a while. So this is the original foul.
Yes, so essentially this is the original 2 free throws. So those are the 2 technical free throws. And then Oden will have the 2 free throws based on the foul going up for the layup.
So they shoot the tees before the regular foul.
While everybody is standing off the line, yes. So this is now the normal 2 free throws for the shooting foul.
There again, now you can see a different type of, that's what I think was under that white pad.
Yeah.
A heavily taped elbow when he came back out after he wore that left elbow pad in the first half, but they obviously put a brace under it when he came back out of the locker room in the second half.
He was definitely favoring his right. He is a right-handed player, but he's okay because you want him playing at his best.
Court Robertson into the ball game, or Roberson, excuse me, for Wyoming. Burke Smith for Boise State, missing that jump hook. Also in is Sadrak and Gunga. And Barnhart gets one in. And Wyoming has cut the lead back down to 12 again.
You got to give them a lot of credit. They did not give up. They kept fighting. They kept playing hard.
Final seconds. Outmans. And then with their leader injured as well. It's a gutty effort. 2 good friends, Jeff Linder, Leon Rice. And Boise State gets the win. They're at 19-6 and now 9-3 in the Mountain West. Where does that get them? Well, it may move them up in the net, and it certainly moves them to a second-place tie with Nevada in the top-heavy Mountain West Conference. We will come back to Boise, where the Broncos win at 75-63. Tyson Degenhardt and Boise State, a 75-63 win over Wyoming. Boise State holds serve on court, and hopefully they'll have a chance to rise in the net. They were 26 to start with.
Oh, a terrific outcome for Boise State. 53% from the field, all 5 starters in double figures.
So the Broncos win it. Tied for second in the Mountain West. For Dan Dickow, our entire crew, I'm Rich Waltz. This is a presentation of CBS Sports Network. 24-hour home of CBS Sports. We'll head to San Jose for Utah State, San Jose State after the break.